What up is Marcus? We have week 10 waiver wires here. Now, again, we're going to go through running backs first, then wide receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks. We're going to go through it here. The first running back I want to talk about is he's a player that is eligible to come off IR. It's Khalil Herbert. Now, he is a little over half owned, so I just want to kind of put a little FYI for your information. Khalil Herbert might be somebody that is still kind of floating on these waivers, but the biggest couple players are because of injury or because they increased a little bit of snap share here. Keaton Mitchell is the RB3 in Baltimore, but he showed really well, and so if he continues to show really well, Gus Edwards getting older, Justice Hill not, in my opinion, not extremely talented. Keaton Mitchell could end up being that workhorse running back down the road. If you're a winning team, if you're a team that is 6-3, 7-2, this is the perfect type of pickup. These actually next couple ones are perfect type of pickups. Honestly, there's not a lot of fill in right off the bat type of players. It's just unfortunate. Well, not unfortunate. I guess we just haven't had any big injuries for the running back position in a week or two here. The next one is Zach Charbonnet. Kind of the same thing. You're handcuffing Ken Walker now because he doesn't want to be Kenneth. Ken Walker has now decreased a lot of his snap share. Zach Charbonnet has been seeing a lot more. He's a round 2 running back. He was one of the highly the most talented running backs coming out of the last year's class. And so we talk about Devin Achane, and we talk about Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson. But Zach Charbonnet was the RB3 before he went to Seattle in that class, even ahead of Devin Achane. He was kind of right into that category. And if you haven't looked, you can look back even, 6 months ago, and that's what we talked about in Dynasty mode. And so Zach Charbonnet, talented running back, can be used out of that receiving role. So if you see, this could be a 60-40 split. This is turning more into that, which is unfortunate for Ken Walker owners. And if you are a Ken Walker owner, I would be potentially trying to get out from underneath him and try to get a different running back that looks to be a little bit more volume related. So Zach Charbonnet is definitely an option here. Ty Chandler, he's going to take over the Cam Akers role, which Cam Akers was kind of taking over the Madison role. Madison now just supplanted is into that RB1 for the Minnesota Vikings. Josh Dobbs is going to take probably some of that running, just some of that fantasy relevance away. But if Madison goes down, then you might see Chandler fill into that spot. Again, this is a deep roster add, and so am I happy about this? Not really. I think it's going to be pretty irrelevant, but again, sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures, and I'd rather have him than a Michael Carter. He's kind of into that Antonio Gibson realm, and you might even see Antonio Gibson as a player that you might have to pick up off of waivers and just play in a desperate time when we have some of these running back buys. Wide receivers, Tank Dell should be owned. I've talked about him the last couple of weeks, so that he had that concussion, so he was out. But Tank Dell, now even though he was the second best wide receiver potentially, you have Brown, you have Nico Collins, and you have him. I think Tank Dell is the one that you're going to want out of those three. Now, a lot of people have been Nico Harpers, but I think Tank Dell has the best relationship with C.J. Stroud. Both rookies, both coming in the league together. C.J. Stroud wanted Tank Dell there, and that's my opinion, maybe more than it is fact, but maybe it's more fact than it is opinion. I have no idea, but that is kind of the, narrative that's been going around some of the league. And so Tank Dell, Quentin Johnston had a bad matchup against the Jets. You're not going to have a ton of volume there, not a ton of passing. So you might see, QJ dropped. With Palmer going to the IR, I think that QJ could be an ad here. And so somebody that maybe left to dust because of that horrible performance, he is going to be taking over that Mike Williams role. And somebody's got to get targeted. It's not going to be Keenan Allen and Eckler 90% of the time. It's probably going to be 60% of the time that's going to be Austin Eckler and Keenan Allen. But somebody's got to have the other 40%. And if you get a 20% target share for a Herbert offense, that is a target share that I'm wanting. Demario Douglas had the most offense in New England. Him and a tight end that we're going to talk about, Hunter Henry, are two players, again, for that New England team that is horrible, but they have to pass the ball at some point. So Douglas and Henry are going to be potential little fill-ins here for a period of time. JSN is the last one I want to talk about. If he's not been picked up or if he was dropped because of the Baltimore defense destroying all of Seattle, then I am going to be picking up JSN, or if he's still on the waivers, pick him up. I think that he is going to be somebody that transitions into that wide receiver 2 role. I think Tyler Lockett is going to be heading into a little bit of a decrease here. And honestly, DK has had a rough year too. Let's talk about tight ends and quarterbacks quick here. Tight ends, Taysom Hill. I just want to bring him up because, honestly, I've been telling you guys to pick him up the last few weeks, and he's not a tight end. He is a jack of all trades. I saw a meme that said Taysom Taysom rushes, Taysom throws, and Taysom catches. And he really takes them. He takes a little bit of everything, and he's honestly an ugly tight end one, but it works. Kate Otten, very targeted, highly targeted the last couple weeks here. Does go against Tennessee, which is good against the tight end position. But I'm still starting him because as a fill-in, if you're Dallas Goedert or Darren Waller, brutal little fantasy. My main league, I had Darren Waller. Went to go trade for Dallas Goedert. I got him. I acquired him, and now he's hurt. And now I'm going to be on my third tight end in 3 weeks, and we'll see. I'm going to be going after Kate Otten. Spoiler. The next one is going to be Jonnu Smith. I don't understand why they don't like Kyle Pitts, but Jonnu Smith keeps getting targets, and so he's going to be a potential start. And then Luke Musgrave got his first touchdown. Congrats to Luke Musgrave. And seems to be this dump-off guy for Jordan Love. And Jordan Love has been bad lately, but he keeps dumping it after Luke Musgrave. And if you're looking for somebody that's not going to get that 0 for 0 for you, or that 1 for 12, I think Luke Musgrave could get you that 5 for 35 and hope for that score type thing. It's not great. It's not beautiful, but guess what? Sometimes it gets it done. Quarterbacks, Kyler Murray coming off of IR. Make sure that you have him as the number one waiver priority here. Baker Mayfield, again, gets it done. And even against Houston's really good pass defense, he got it done again. And so somebody to definitely be able to stream here. Taylor Heineke, if you're in really desperate measures, and Russell Wilson coming off a bye. Those are some players. If I had an order, of course, Tank Dell is going to be the number one here. Tank Dell, Taysom Hill, like those guys are going to be the number ones. Not 1, 2, but in a lot of leagues, you guys are looking like, hey, I don't have that option here. So I'm looking at, if you need tight end, of course, you sometimes you got to go with position of need versus position of the best available pickup. Let's say if you really need a tight end, but let's say Tank Dell's there, you might. Gosh, I would still probably go Tank Dell because I really like Tank Dell, but sometimes you're gonna have to go after a tight end. So I would say out of this group here, Keaton Mitchell, Zach Charbonnet, QJ. I think QJ you could potentially even get as a second waiver as the waivers go through. But Keaton Mitchell is going to be gone in the first section here or fab wise. None of these guys I'm throwing more than a couple bucks on unless it's Tank Dell. I'm throwing probably $20 on Tank Dell, and I'm probably throwing again 20 on Taysom Hill. Maybe like $3 on QJ. Again, a tight end, a couple bucks. But, I mean, everybody else is kind of like that $1, $2 bids, and you just kind of hope that you get them. Or waiver priority, again, Keaton Mitchell, Zach Charbonnet. Try to get one of those two handcuffs there. QJ, if you need that wide receiver, or Demario Douglas, JSN, like those are all some different options. Again, there's nothing that has been flashing like, oh, we definitely need to get this player. So just take that as you know. All right. Again, this is Marcus. Thanks for that. Peace out. We'll see you again very soon.